Hi there, it's Mark Wickersham here, Amazon #1 best-selling author and professional speaker, helping the accounting profession master value pricing. And in this video today, we're going to look at how do you properly factor in scope so that you never make a loss on any work that you do, any project. And the reason this is important is because when we are value pricing, one of the characteristics of value pricing is that normally, and not always, but most of the times we will give a fixed price right up front. And therefore, if we're giving a fixed price up front, we want to make sure that we're going to make money on the job. So we have to make sure we properly scope the work. We need to make sure we understand what's needed, what work's required, so that we can give that proper fixed value-based price. So let me talk a little bit about, I'm going to use bookkeeping as an example and share with you just a few thoughts. So we come up with scope partly from experience. It comes from experience. We will get better at this over time. Sometimes we'll get it wrong. Just occasionally you give somebody a fixed price for a piece of work, you do the work, something unexpected crops up, and it may be that it takes a bit longer. Well, we just learn from that. We need to make sure we have a system, a structure for coming up with price. And if we make a mistake, let's learn from that and let's fix it. So what are the questions that we should ask? Every service is different. Bookkeeping, the questions we might ask are things like, how many transactions are there in a month? We certainly need to know the answer to that. And you might therefore use that as part of your coming up with the price. The price could be related to the number of monthly transactions. And what you'll find, if you look at all of your past bookkeeping work, and if you were to plot on a graph with the X and Y axis, if you were to plot what you priced before, the price, what you charge them against the number of transactions, you will find a pretty good correlation, because clearly the more transactions, the more scope, and the more price, the higher the price would be and should be. But it's not just the number of transactions that impact on the scope of the work. There will be other factors too. For example, the number of bank accounts. You could have two businesses, both with the same number of transactions, but one uses one bank account, the other uses 10. And so you've got more reconciliations to do. So the number of bank accounts might have an impact on the price. The type of industry they're in might make a difference on the price. So you might want to increase the price or reduce the price for certain industries, professions, trades, because of particular complexities they might have. You might want to flex the price and change the price based on, for example, how many credit cards they have, or do they have overseas transactions? Are they registered for sales tax? So the starting point is to come up with a list of all of the things that impact on scope. And there's some for bookkeeping. You could come up with a similar list for tax returns, for clean-up work, annual financial statements, payroll, and so on. Next, what you want to do is, once you've then figured out what the scope is, you attach a price to those elements. You build your price up based on the scope of the work. And then when you've done that, you will then just test it, run your system through a few clients. Now, how would you do that? How would you build up a system? Cloud pricing is a great tool for doing that. And I'll put below this video a link to cloud pricing so you can try it out for 30 days. And once you've got your system, your way of coming up with the price based on the scope of the work, just run it past a few existing clients to see if the pricing's right, and test it and change it and tweak it until it's coming out about right. Important point though here is that we're not trying here attempting to get exactly the same profit margin on every single client. You'll always have some clients that are more profitable and some that are less profitable. What we're doing is we're figuring out the scope questions to give us a great approximation for what the price should be. Sometimes the jobs will go easier than before, sometimes less easy. And to make sure that we don't make a loss, we need to make sure that one of the things we do as part of giving people a fixed price up front is that we give them a higher price than perhaps you would have done in the past. And the reason for that is because when you move to value pricing, when you give fixed prices up front, you're giving the client certainty. You're taking the risk away from them because they now know what the price is. They didn't under the old-fashioned time-based billing. It means you've now got the risk on your shoulders, and because you're taking on more risk that there might be job overruns, you should charge a higher price. And the final point I want to make before we wrap up this video is Some people worry about value pricing because they might make a loss on jobs. But the reality is, if we think about it, under the old-fashioned time-based billing, we still had the same problems because, certainly from my experience of working with accountants for the last 20 years, is that very often we get that timesheet which shows how much time we've spent, and then we decide to use some commercial judgment. We think to ourselves, we can't possibly charge that, that'll upset the client, let's write some time off. And I know in the profession that time is often written off. So timesheets is not itself an accurate way of billing anyway because of that write-off. So let's move to value pricing. Let's accept the fact that sometimes we'll make super profits, sometimes we might not, but we will increase the number of times we get it right as we improve our system for properly scoping out the work first. Below this video, you'll find some links to some other free resources, and please like the video, click the thumbs up button. I'll see you on another video soon. Bye for now.